warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Asnaini and my student identity 220134040. In this video, I would like to present about student perspective and problem in implementing higher order thinking skill or HOTS in speaking for presentation class. My presentation consists of 5 chapters. The first chapter is introduction, second chapter is literature review, third is methodology, fourth is result, and the last chapter is conclusion. We move to chapters 1 is introduction. Speaking skill is needed for all people in the world to communicate with foreigners. Speaking skill is not for only outside classroom, but also inside the classroom for EFL learners. Hence, without speaking, the interaction in the classroom is difficult to be built by student and teacher, especially in speaking. Students can build their critical thinking so they could speak with good quality. High order thinking skill or HOTS is crucial to be implemented in all courses, especially in speaking class. Second chapter, literature review. According to Burkhardt, 20 and 10, they are 6 levels of cognitive domain in taxonomy Bloom. They are remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and the last is creating. Some research also argue HOTS has several advantages, namely, first, students will be able to think independently so they can make decisions. Second, it will increase the student ability or performance or achievement because they will know how to deal with the question from the teacher or lecturer in teaching and learning process. Third, it will make students think creatively, critical, and innovatively because they will know how to analyze, evaluate, and create. Fourth, it ensures students to prepare them in higher education. And the last, it prepares the student in adult life and working environment. Next chapter is methodology. To achieve the objective of this research, mixed method design were employed in this research because the combination of quantitative and qualitative assists the researcher to answer the research question about the student perception and the student problem in implementing HOTS and speaking. Mixed method design is one of the research approach that makes the quantitative and qualitative that helps the researcher to solve the problems. Next chapter is a result. Student perception toward the implementation of HOTS in learning speaking indicates that students had positive and negative perception on implementing HOTS in speaking class. However, the positive perception were more dominant than negative perception. While several students had problems in implementing HOTS in speaking class, those problems were poor argument, lack of vocabulary and grammar, lack of knowledge about the material, methods, and not know what to ask. In short, the problem still occurred in speaking class when applying higher order thinking in speaking class, even though several students did not have a problem on it. The last chapter is conclusion. Higher order thinking skill HOTS has important role in learning English for students because HOTS could stimulate their critical thinking. Students had learned about HOTS and implemented HOTS in learning speaking in the classroom. However, its implementing is not maximum because some students were still difficult to implementing HOTS, especially for evaluating and grading. For example, students could not be able to give critic and suggestion and give the right answer with good argument. Even though majority students had positive perception on HOTS implementation, the teacher should follow up the limitation of this research. It's needed time to train students, thus they could implementing C6 on creating and speaking class. Problem in implementing HOTS and speaking class and applying HOTS in the classroom is not easy as people think because the teacher or lecturer must have comprehensive knowledge about higher order order thinking skill. They are not specific problems in implementing HOTS and speaking class, but they are still problem for using HOTS in the classroom in general. It means the HOTS can be identified by analyze the student question in classroom or interaction. According to the research found problem for students implementing HOTS in learning English, thus problem were first, students were less of English skill knowledge, second, students were lazy to ask, third, students were usually to speak or ask the question with lower order thinking skill, and the fourth, the teacher was not maximum to promote higher order thinking skill in classroom. Problem in implementing HOTS in speaking class and applying HOTS in the classroom is not easy as people think because the teacher or lecturer must be comprehensible knowledge about higher order thinking skill. There are no specific problems in implementing HOTS in the speaking class, but they are still problem for using HOTS in the classroom in general. Thank you. Friend if his or her friend did mistake in speaking English. Based on the interview results, several students had problems in implementing HOTS in the speaking class. Thus, problems were poor argument, lack of vocabulary and grammar, lack of knowledge about the material, nervous, and not know what to ask. The first poor argument means that some students were difficult to express their idea because they don't have evidence and supporting theory. It is provided by my problem is to facilitate my statement with supportive reason and evidence. I can express my argument clearly when I try to speak my own perspective. The second, some students were hard to ask and answer the question because they do not have enough background knowledge and adequate vocabulary and grammar knowledge. As some students said, sometimes I have problem to deliver my idea if I don't have a background knowledge of the topic. Sometimes I have a problem to deliver my idea if I don't have the background knowledge of the topic, less vocabulary and grammar. Yes, it happens if I don't learn more about the material before. The third, the problem was about psychological factors. It includes mood, anxiety, or nervous. Students could not implement HOTS in speaking class when their mood is not good and they feel nervous or anxiety in speaking. As several students stated, I cannot implementing it when my mood is not real good sometimes, and it's due to my low self-esteem, so that I feel nervous whenever I want to start to speak in front of many people, and it's make my mind go blank. I'm nervous. Thank you.